Welcome to Relaxed Reddit Readings. Today we have 5 Reddit stories for you. AITA stories that will have you picking sides instantly. Story 1. My father-in-law abandoned my teenage daughter drunk at a restaurant. So my partner's dad ditched my 16-year-old at a restaurant because he was too drunk to drive and she refused to get in the car with him. Let me back up. My daughter is from a previous relationship, but my current partner's parents have been incredible with her. They treat her like their own grandkid, no weirdness about it at all. So when I needed someone to watch her overnight before an early school excursion, I asked my father-in-law. He lives 5 minutes from where the bus was leaving. It made total sense. Easy favor, right? That night, he takes her to a birthday dinner for one of his friends. Totally normal. Except he starts drinking. And he doesn't stop. By the end of the night, the man is straight up drunk, and he's supposed to be the one driving my daughter home. Now here's the thing, I actually give her credit for this. She's 16 and she had the sense to say no. She flat out refused to get into a car with a drunk adult behind the wheel. Good for her, right? That's exactly what we teach kids to do. Well, apparently that made him angry. Instead of calling a cab, instead of calling me, instead of doing literally anything responsible, he left her there. At the restaurant. Alone. At night. She had to call me in a panic, and I had to scramble to figure out how to get her home safely from a place I wasn't even at. Thankfully she was okay, she stayed safe, but she was shaken up and honestly kind of scared. So now I'm sitting here and I have to make a decision. Do I let this man continue to have unsupervised overnight time with my other kids? Because to me, this isn't just, oops, I had one too many. This is a grown man getting drunk while responsible for a minor, and then abandoning her when she made the safe choice not to get in a car with him. My partner is stuck in the middle because obviously it's his dad, and his parents have otherwise been wonderful grandparents. But I keep coming back to the fact that if she hadn't stood her ground, something way worse could have happened. I told my partner I don't feel comfortable with overnight visits anymore, at least not without another sober adult present. His mom is upset, saying I'm overreacting and that it was a one-time thing, that everyone makes mistakes. But this wasn't just a mistake, this was a situation where a child could have been seriously hurt if she hadn't made the right call herself. Am I supposed to just trust that it won't happen again? Am I the jerk for pulling back overnight privileges after something like this, even though the rest of the family has been amazing? Or is protecting my kids' safety more important than keeping the peace with in-laws who otherwise mean well? If you're enjoying these stories, hit that like button and let me know in the comments which story you relate to the most. Story 2. My deadbeat dad wants me to be his retirement plan. So my dad, who basically skipped my entire childhood, just called me out of nowhere asking me to help fund his retirement. Let me give you some background first. I'm 29 now, and growing up, I mostly lived with my mom. My dad was around sometimes, but he had a second family, and more often than not, he chose them over me. He missed my recitals. He missed my graduation. He forgot my birthday more than once, and I'm not talking about like, oh he was a day late with a card. I'm talking full-on forgot I existed kind of forgetting. And look, I made my peace with that a long time ago. I stopped waiting for him to show up. I built a decent life for myself, got a good job, stayed afloat financially, all without any help from him. So imagine my surprise when last month, completely out of the blue, he calls me. Turns out he's 61 now. His health isn't great. And get this, his savings are basically gone because he spent years helping his other kids, the ones he actually stuck around for, buy houses and cars and whatever else. So now that he's old, and broke, and running out of options, suddenly he remembers he has a daughter. And he asked me, straight up, if I could help support him going forward. Like financially support him. As in, be his retirement plan. I sat there on the phone just kind of stunned for a second, because the audacity of it was almost impressive. This is a man who couldn't be bothered to show up for a school play, but he expects me to show up now that he needs money. So I told him no. I told him I wasn't going to be his retirement plan, especially after he spent my entire childhood investing his time, money, and energy into a different family. I said if he wanted a daughter who'd take care of him in his old age, maybe he should ask one of the kids he actually raised. He got really upset with me, said I was cold, said family is family no matter what happened in the past, and that a real daughter wouldn't just abandon her father when he's struggling. And that stung a little, not gonna lie, because there's this instinct in me that still wants to be the bigger person. But at the same time, I keep thinking, where was that same logic when I needed him? Where was family is family when I was a kid who just wanted her dad to come to her graduation? Now some people in my life are telling me I'm being too harsh, that he's still my father and he's getting old and sick, and that I might regret this when he's gone. Others are telling me I owe him absolutely nothing, that you don't get to skip out on parenting and then cash in later just because you're broke. Honestly, I go back and forth on it myself some days. So I really am asking, was I wrong to tell my dad I won't be supporting him financially after everything? Or is it fair to say that the relationship he built, or didn't build, with me is exactly why he doesn't get to expect that now? Story 3. My fiancé's dad told me I wasn't allowed to speak at my own engagement. So my future father-in-law, who happens to run a huge religious center, straight up told me I'm not allowed to talk at my own engagement party. Let me set the scene. My fiancé and I got engaged a few months ago, we're both really excited, and his dad, who leads this big, well-known religious center in a fairly wealthy beach town, offered to host our engagement luncheon. Which, on paper, is really generous, right? Nice gesture from the future in-laws. So I asked him if I could say a few words during the event. And I want to be clear, this isn't some random request. I'm a lawyer. I do public speaking literally for a living. I wasn't planning to get up there and ramble, I just wanted to introduce myself and my family to the congregation, thank his parents for hosting, and share a little bit about how my fiancé and I met. Totally normal stuff for an engagement event, right? Well, he said no. Just, no. And when my mom, trying to smooth things over I guess, asked if maybe I could just say a quick thank you at the end, he said no to that too. No explanation that really made sense, just a flat refusal to let me speak at my own engagement party, in front of my own family, celebrating my own relationship. My fiancé didn't really push back on it either, which honestly bothered me almost as much as the refusal itself. I get that his dad has a certain way he likes to run these events, and I get that it's his venue and his community in some sense, but this isn't a random gathering, this is my engagement. This is supposed to be about me and my fiancé, not just about how his father wants the event to look in front of his congregation. So now I'm sitting here thinking, do I just go along with it and stay quiet the whole luncheon like some kind of prop? Or do I stand up, when the moment feels right, and say a few words anyway, regardless of what he said? Because here's the thing, if I do that, I already know it's going to cause a huge scene. This man runs a religious center, he has an image, a reputation, a way he likes things to go, and me standing up and speaking after he explicitly told me not to is basically a direct challenge to his authority in front of his entire community. My mom thinks I should just do it anyway, that it's my engagement and I have every right to introduce myself and thank the people hosting me. But my fiancé is nervous about upsetting his dad, and I get that too, nobody wants tension with their future in-laws right out of the gate. So would I be the jerk if I disobeyed my future father-in-law and spoke at my own engagement luncheon after he specifically told me not to? Or should I just let him have this one, for the sake of keeping the peace with his family? Story 4. My aunt guilt-tripped my 7-year-old for not wanting a hug. So my aunt got visibly hurt because my 7-year-old politely said no thank you to a hug, and now my mom is telling me I'm raising my daughter wrong. Let me explain the whole situation. My daughter is 7, and she's always been a shy kid. She's just never liked being touched by people she's not super close with, and honestly, I think that's a pretty normal thing for a lot of kids to feel. At family gatherings, there's this ongoing thing with my aunt where she always insists on hugs. She'll open up her arms wide and go, "Come give me a hug," and my daughter, being shy, usually just hides behind my legs or quietly says no. It's happened enough times that you'd think everyone would just get used to it by now. So last weekend was my aunt's birthday party, and the same thing happens again. My aunt opens her arms, asks for a hug, and this time my daughter actually says, very politely, "No thank you." Not rude, not dramatic, just a simple, polite "no thank you," which honestly, as a parent, I was kind of proud of. She used her words, she was respectful about it, and she stood up for what she was comfortable with. But my aunt looked hurt. Like genuinely hurt, like she'd been personally rejected. And then my mom pulled me aside, and she says, and I quote, "You need to teach her to be more polite and just give hugs when family asks." And that's where I kind of drew the line. I told my mom that my daughter was being polite. She said no thank you, which is literally the polite way to decline something. I also told her that I'm not going to force my daughter to be physically affectionate with people just because they're related to her. To me, teaching a kid that they have to hug someone even when they don't want to, especially just to avoid hurting an adult's feelings, sends a pretty dangerous message. It tells them their comfort and their bodily autonomy come second to making grown-ups happy. And honestly, in a world where we're constantly telling kids to speak up if someone makes them uncomfortable, it feels wildly inconsistent to then turn around and force them to hug relatives on demand. But my mom isn't backing down. She thinks I'm being too permissive, that a simple hug isn't asking too much, and that I'm making my aunt feel rejected over what she sees as a small, harmless family tradition. She even said something like, "This is how families show love, you're going to make her antisocial." So now there's this weird tension every time we go to a family event, like everyone's watching to see if my daughter will behave and give the hug this time. So am I the jerk for backing my daughter's choice not to hug relatives she's not comfortable with, even when it hurts their feelings? Or is my mom right that this is just basic family politeness and I'm overthinking the whole thing? Story 5. I brought my own chair to a friend's house and now everyone's mad. So I brought my own chair to my friend's game night, and apparently that made me the bad guy. Okay, let me give you some context here. I'm a bigger guy, I'm 6'4", around 260 pounds, so I'm not exactly small. My buddy Ryan hosts a game night twice a month, and he's got this set of lightweight folding chairs around his dining table, the kind you'd get at a hardware store for like $15 each. A few months back, I'm sitting in one of these chairs during game night, and it literally bends underneath me. Not breaks completely, but bends, like visibly warps. I felt terrible, immediately offered to replace it. Ryan was cool about it, said it was already old and beat up anyway, told me not to worry about it. Which, fine, nice guy, I appreciated that. But here's the thing, ever since then, I have not felt comfortable sitting in any of the other chairs at that table. They're literally the exact same model, same brand, same flimsy build, and every single time I sit down, they wobble under me. It's not paranoia, it's just physics. I'm a bigger guy and those chairs were clearly not built with someone my size in mind. So last weekend, before heading over for game night, I made a decision. I brought my own chair. Nothing crazy, just a sturdy, normal folding chair from my own house that I knew could hold my weight without me spending the entire night worried I was gonna crash to the floor in front of everyone. I set it up at the table just like anyone else would set up a seat, sat down, and we started playing. And almost immediately, I could feel the vibe shift. A couple people gave me these looks, like I was doing something bizarre. Then one of Ryan's other friends actually said something like, "Wow, bringing your own chair, really?" in this kind of judgmental tone. And Ryan himself seemed a little weird about it too, not outright angry, but definitely off, like I had made some kind of statement by doing this. I tried explaining that it's not personal, I just don't feel safe in the other chairs anymore since one already bent under me, and I didn't want to risk breaking another one or embarrassing myself by falling. But apparently that explanation didn't really land the way I hoped, because people still acted like I'd done something rude or excessive, like I was implying his house or his furniture wasn't good enough for me. Which genuinely was not my intention at all. I just wanted to sit somewhere I trusted not to collapse. So now I'm left wondering, was that actually a weird thing to do? Should I have just kept risking it with the flimsy chairs to avoid making things awkward? Or is it completely reasonable to bring your own seating when you already know the furniture at someone's house isn't built for your size? So, am I the jerk for bringing my own chair to my friend's house? If you enjoyed these stories, drop a comment telling me which one was your favorite. And if you want more relaxed Reddit readings, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed these stories, like, comment and subscribe for more relaxed Reddit readings.